Namaste. In Swatantra Bharat 75, The Genius of India as a Key to the Crisis of Humanity, today we have Professor KVSS Narayan Rao, professor from NITIE Mumbai, retired from NITIE, and he will be taking lecture on Vedic Business Management, some statements from Rig Veda. Welcome to you, Dr. Rao, and I request you to start your session now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joshiji. I have to once again say thanks to you for contacting me and persuading me to take up this task. I wanted to do this exercise for quite some time, but the opportunity given to me by you in this series of lectures has provided the motivation to sit down and go through the material and prepare this presentation. Actually, I come from a family of Vedic Pandits from my mother's side. Her grandfather, Sri Surikuch Ramaswamy, is a Vedic Pandit, and family members remember that he was felicitated especially in Baroda for reciting the Krishna Yajurveda without a break, for reciting the full Krishna Yajurveda without a break. His daughter's son is also a Vedic Pandit, and his brother's sons are also Vedic Pandits. So I am very happy to put effort in this area and make a small output. I seek their blessings in this endeavor. I now remember Sri Chandrasekhar Saraswati Swamiji, Karmacharya of Kanchi Kamakoti Pita. There is a book which is a popular book with the title Hindu Dharma, which contains his number of his sermons. One of the essays is on Veda Bhashya, and Swamiji has written that he wants more people to know the meaning of Veda mantras, and he is making special efforts to involve more people in this activity, because traditionally the more emphasis is on recitation of the Vedas. People who are Vedic Pandits, they learn how to properly pronounce the mantras, and the attention to learn the meaning is less. And this is where Sri Swamiji especially has written that he is trying to make efforts to see that more people know the meaning of Vedas. So I also got interested to learn the meaning of Vedas after reading this particular essay, but I could start only recently more seriously reading about the Vedic meanings. When we come to the meaning of Vedas or Veda Bhashya, we have the Bhashya written by Sri Sayanacharya during the Vijayanagar Empire days. So that was the first available Bhashya on Vedas, on probably on all the Vedas available from Sayanacharya. The Sayanacharya Bhashya was used by many Indians to translate it into their languages. Even the European scholars who translated Vedas into English and other European languages used the translation of Sayanacharya as the basis. Subsequently, Swami Dayananda Saraswati has taken an independent line, and he wrote Bhashya to Vedas. Swami Dayananda Saraswati wrote full Bhashya for Shukla Yajurveda and only partially, maybe around 5 chapters in the case of Rig Veda. And the scholars belonging to Arya Samaj have completed the Rig Veda and have written Bhashya for other Vedas following the directions set by Swami Dayananda. I came across an essay by Swami Aurobindo, Sri Aurobindo, on Dayananda Saraswati, and where Sri Aurobindo has appreciated the independent line taken by Swami Dayananda Saraswati and said it is certainly worth that we read his Bhashya and make our own sort of a conclusion. That means it requires a serious attention along with the Bhashya of Sri Sayanacharya. Now, in this particular presentation or in my efforts, I am trying to initially follow the writings of Swami Dayananda. And I have given a link below. In this particular link, you will be able to read each mantra and its meaning given by Dayananda Saraswati ji or the other scholars of Arya Samaj. This is a very good source for learning the meanings of mantra one by one, and you will also be able to listen the mantra, the proper pronunciation in this particular link. Nirukta is not a full dictionary, but it is a partial dictionary for many words in Vedas. If one goes into Nirukta, the word Indra has many meanings. Similarly, the other terms like Aswin has the different meanings. So because of the different meanings which can be given to the word Indra, when a mantra is there in which the word Indra is used, the Veda mantra may refer to a divine being or an important role of persons in real life. Like Indra, suppose it may mean the king. So we have to decide whether in this particular mantra the meaning should be the divine Indra or the meaning should be king. Definitely, it is difficult for us as individuals to decide the meaning independently. So interpretation or Bhashya is important. So we have to initially follow the popular Bhashyas which are available and reflect on those Bhashyas. Now, to support this particular presentation, I created a page in my blog. This page contains, for each statement that I make in English, actually it is not my statement. I shall give the source in the next slide, the PhD thesis of Dr. Kannan. Now, for each statement, I try to write down the mantra, the corresponding mantra from the Samhita, and the word by word meaning given by Swami Dayananda Saraswati. The meanings are in Hindi, and the bhava of the mantra given by Swami Dayananda Saraswati, and then my picking of the relevant words from that mantra which are giving the meaning as given by Dr. Kannan. So you will be able to use this page for a more detailed reading on the presentation that I am making. So this is the source for the presentation. The book Vedic Management by Dr. S. Kannan. The taxman is the publications. It was published in year 2009. And the book is based on the PhD thesis of Dr. Kannan, which he did in the departments of Sanskrit and the Department of Management. And I have given the link where the full thesis is available, and the thesis and the published book both are almost the same. I have the book with me and I have the downloaded thesis also with me. Now, I am making this presentation with expertise in management and industrial engineering. Right? I am not making this from a knowledge or a scholarship in the Sanskrit language, but I am making this presentation from my knowledge of management and industrial engineering. I am a retired professor. I retired in the July of this year as a professor from NITIE, Mumbai. And after retirement, the first major project I have taken up is reading the meanings of Vedas. Now, in industrial engineering, I write a blog, Industrial Engineering Knowledge Center, which is actually the global #1 blog in industrial engineering. It is read by 40,000 persons each year from all over the world. From all the countries in the world, people do visit and read the blog. In the months of January and February, Honorable Minister Sri Piyush Goyal, through the National Productivity Council and the Quality Institute, organized around 40 online discussion workshops on improving productivity and quality in the Indian industries. I participated actively in many of those discussions. And through my blog, I am offering an updated version of industrial engineering online course in around 300 lessons. So my expectation is that this course will help in that national endeavor started by Honorable Minister Sri Piyush Goyal. I also write a blog on management, which is also a top global blog. And in that blog only, I have given this page for this particular presentation. So with this deep knowledge of management and industrial engineering, I looked at the thesis of Dr. Kannan. The thesis contains 9 chapters. Actually, the book contains 9 chapters. And in each chapter, Dr. Kannan has given various statements from Vedas in English language. And he has given what is the mantra number of that particular statement. Right? So what I have done in the last 2-3 months is to go to that particular mantra whose number is given by Dr. Kannan in his thesis, go into the Veda book, locate that particular mantra and read the meaning of the mantra and then compare whether it matches with the statement given by Dr. Kannan or not. So that particular things we will see in the next slides. In this particular series of slides, we see a number of statements related to wealth creation, because this is a thesis on the management and the business management, the aspect of the wealth creation is important. So the emphasis on wealth creation is on creation of real wealth. What is real wealth? Real wealth is an abundance of the goods which we can consume, or capital goods which in turn produce the consumer goods. We know today we talk of educating people and skilling people is wealth, because they are going to produce more goods in the future years. And we want all our animals, the animal husbandry, we want all our healthy and strong animals. Then we want our mines, etc., which are the sources of metals and precious stones, or nowadays we talk of the coal mines, or our oil fields, gas fields. So when you develop them, your wealth increases. Similarly, water sources. If you are able to increase our water sources, our wealth increases. So the wealth creation, the emphasis when we say wealth, dhan, is on this, the real wealth increase. Now we come to the actual statements proper, which are given by Dr. Kannan, and some explanation on them. I am making this presentation as an introduction to the book of Dr. Kannan with the statements from chapter 7 of the book. And this particular chapter is concerned with the functional areas of management, like financial management, human resource management. So this chapter is devoted to explaining certain mantras which indicate certain actions in the functional areas of management. So the top line I have given here, 1906, 1946 and 1950, these are the statement numbers, or the reference numbers given by Dr. Kannan. On the next line, we say 55510. Now this is the mantra number of Rig Veda. Dr. Kannan included in his book mantras from all Vedas. I have particularly selected the Rig Veda mantras so that I can write down in a list, then refer Rig Veda and get the mantra, read the reading given in the Bhashya, and try to compare it with the statement given by Dr. Kannan. So the first 5 refers to the either a would call it a book or a mandala in Rig Veda, and this is mandala 5. And in each mandala there are many suktas. Maybe in some mandala there are 170 suktas, etc. So in this case, in this mandala, this is the sukta 55, and within each sukta there are number of mantras, let us say 10, 20 or 25. So in this case, in the sukta 55, it is the mantra 10, and 3 statements were given by Dr. Kannan in his book based on the same mantra. So what Dr. Kannan says is, the first statement, fortune, wealth, treasures and riches are solicited from celestials. So what Kannan says is, in our prayers, we solicit wealth from the divine beings. Second, he says, one shall be a master of abundant riches. It is as if the Veda, the God has told you that you become a master of abundant riches, right? People should try and become masters of plentiful riches, right? These are the 3 statements given by Dr. Kannan. And when I go and read the Bhashya of Dayanand Saraswati ji, what I get, the meaning is, you pray to people with Vijnan, the intellectuals, or the knowledgeable people, to provide you means to protect your wealth, to provide you means to fight with persons who are attacking you. Pray to them to provide services to you to become masters of wealth. So this is a sort of a specification given to people that you have to become masters of wealth, and to become masters of wealth, you have to take the services of the knowledgeable people. So you pray to them or you request them, right, to come and join you and help you in your endeavor. Now, uh, we have to notice this particular point that while Dr. Kannan said celestials, Swami Dayananda says it is the people with Vijnan, right? This is where the Nirukta comes into picture. So wherever Swami Dayananda gives, let us say, an interpretation which is different from Sayanacharya, right? So he immediately quotes the Nirukta and says, according to Nirukta, this word we can have this meaning, right? This word does not only mean God. This word means the intellectuals also. So it is proper. It is proper to give the interpretation that within on the earth or within the universe, people have to request the other people with the requisite capability to help them. The next mantra or the next statement of Dr. Kannan is 1921. We have written in the serial in his chapter, the numbers are skipping because the earlier number to this number, the statements in between are from the other Vedas. I am only taking the Rig Veda related statements. So this is 1921. This is from the book 7 or Mandala 7, Sukta 32 and Mantra 21. So what is Dr. Kannan's statement? The Kannan statement is the Vedas caution that wealth does not come to the niggardly person. The niggardly is a miser who is not who does not give easily money to other people. He grudgingly gives anything to other people. When you go to the mantra's meaning reads, the person who is careless, unjust and cruel will not become strong, rich or a leader, right? Suppose even if he gets them as hereditary or from his father's property, even if he gets them, a cruel man, right, a miserly man will lose the followers and support of the people. Earn wealth through lawful path, right? One more statement is given. A man who is desirous of wealth shall strive to win it by lawful path. So the two numbers are given at top, 1922 and 1934, and 1031-2, we know the interpretation, 10th mandala, 31 sukta, and the second mantra. And we see the meaning is get knowledge of wealth creation from anywhere, from all directions. From all directions you get the knowledge. Probably the mantra may say that you get from the east, you get from the west, you get from below, you get from above. So all directions you are open to get the knowledge. But that knowledge used to be used in a straightforward path or a lawful path to create wealth. The next statement, 1923, wealth has to be attained through genuine labor. So in this, the meaning given in the Bhashya is that it is as if God is telling his bhaktas, right, or the people who are learning reading the Veda, to go and tell people not to try to earn through a game of dice. The Sanskrit word used is kitavaha. That is the Sanskrit word used, right? So don't engage in gambling to earn money, but go into the farm and do the agriculture and produce the food, right? So when you go and produce the food, right, it says the animals survive because of your effort, and your family is going to get food because of this. and it says specifically that your wife will be happy with it. Your family members are happy with your work on the farm and not on wasting time or trying to earn money through gambling. Right? That is where the point comes. Wealth has to be attained through genuine labor. Right. Next mantra, the statement in 1933, wealth has to be won by deeds of glory. Here, the meaning given is both king and people have to do deeds worthy of praise, right? And increase their knowledge and wealth, right? We are talking of wealth, right? Very big wealth, deeds of glory. So when I talk of deeds of glory, I remember Bhagirath bringing Ganges, right? And because he brought Ganges long back, we have today the Ganges. And one thing is, it's a sacred river. We all take bath, right, to earn punya. But we also know the water of Ganges is the responsible for the agricultural produce around that particular area. Similarly, river Godavari, we say, is Gautama has brought the river Godavari to that particular place as a penance. And Godavari is once again that entire region of that area in Andhra Pradesh is become rich because of the Godavari river. So you're talking of the deeds of glory, right, by the powerful people or the other people to get the wealth. The next statement, 1935, one who helps others wins wealth. Right? So what you are saying is the wealth creators or the owners of the enterprises have to help other persons and take care of them. So we say leadership, right? A leadership, one becomes a leader, the other man a follower, only when the leader contributes something to the relationship, right? Because somebody joins the leader, right? That somebody gains, right? Whatever he can do on his own, when he joins a leader, he can do something more. And something more is because the leader is willing to help the other person. But we know in the end, the relationship, both the leader gains and the follower gains. So there is a win-win relationship between the leader and the follower. Now that comes only when we have this particular belief that one who helps others benefits. Right? Another point which says one who gets up early in the morning, or gets up in the early morning gets a treasure. Remember, this particular thing is there as a Veda mantra, specifically saying that you get up early and enjoy the things which are to enjoy in the morning, and that is going to make you provide the goods, etc., to your family members, and you become happy. So what does it mean is, in the olden days, the daylight is to fully utilized for the productive work. Right? Today we have the electricity and all, 24 hours work has come. But when you look at that particular time, it is the daylight to fully utilized. So the person who gets up early, right, and does work to acquire valuable items available in the morning, right, in time he becomes wealthy, can take care of his people well, and will live happily. Just see, in the Veda, right, probably even very, very simple, basic things essential for living were also mentioned. Then the statement says one shall long for riches. We know Purushartha, right? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Right? So I interpret Dharma as learning and Artha as earning. Right? So you have one phase, which is every individual has to learn something, and the second phase, every individual has to use that learning for the wealth creation, right? Why require wealth? Because wealth is food. Food is wealth, right? When we want to eat, we want food, and food is wealth. Right? So here the statement says, one shall long for riches, right? So people have to make efforts to produce wealth as desired by them. Right? So they should follow their thoughts or desires to produce and consume things that make them strong and brave, right? So those things which are going to make you strong. So you should first of all find out, you should know what makes you strong, and then you should make efforts to produce them. The next statement is, wealth in thousands should dwell and should never disappear. So what is wealth in thousands? It is the different varieties of products, right? We require different foodstuffs, we require a house, means different items are to be made, we require garments to wear, once again different varieties are required. So the Veda, that particular point is there, that wealth in thousands has to become available, right? So we should become holders of wealth in thousands of varieties of goods, and the wealth should never disappear. This is another wish, right? It can be either wish or a command, right? So it's a command when you believe God told you, right? You'll see in the next statement that particular point, right? You keep working and keep producing for today's needs and tomorrow's needs and day after tomorrow's needs, right? If wealth disappears, you will also disappear, right? The point is, for the living beings to exist, they require goods to consume, and the goods needs to be produced and stored. So these statements, one shall not be selfish and consume all by himself. One who eats alone is a sinner. Two statements are given based on the same mantra. The explanation is, the person with wealth who does not support intellectuals and his own relatives is wasting his life, and he will be judged a sinner. Right? So one thing is a family responsibility. So when there are certain family members who need help, a wealthy person should help him. That is one point. The other is a social responsibility. All right. So in the social responsibility, there's a class of people who are intellectuals who are going to spend more time in knowledge creation and knowledge transfer and less time in the wealth creation. Probably they could spend in wealth creation, but out of a natural inclination in them, so they are not happy unless they create the knowledge, and they spend more time in creating the knowledge and less time in wealth creation. Whereas there are certain other persons who are much more interested in wealth creation, much more able to do the wealth creation using the knowledge created by the intellectuals. Right? So the wealth creator should be able to recognize the contribution that their intellectual played in the wealth creation, and should be able to share with him something. Right? Both these points are there in the same mantra. See the next point. The rich shall satisfy the poor. When we have gone to the mantra says that the wealth does not stay with anybody permanently. It says that the wealth moves on like a wheel, right? It is like a wheels of a vehicle are moving. The wealth keeps on moving from person to person. Yeah. In this case, we can think of the example of annual production from farms, right? So some years in certain areas the produce may be less, in certain other areas the produce may be more. So this particular statement says, take care of others in difficulties when you have good harvests, right? So understand the requirements of other people. We can see this today. We are having natural calamities in certain states. So other states have to come to the rescue. Even the government employees are being asked to give a one-day salary to take care of the natural calamities in certain places. So when you are more safe and somebody else gets into difficulties, you take care of them. All right. So this is a point which I earlier also just mentioned. One shall produce fair wealth for today and tomorrow, right? So everybody has to keep producing adequate wealth on all days. Right? Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, wealth creation is important every day. Then the statement, poverty should be banished. The mantra says, right, things which do not cause pleasure, we should be able to avoid. This is what the mantra says, right? So the thoughts which increase poverty or which increase distress should be controlled, right? The individual should not be lazy themselves, and they should try to encourage others not to be lazy, but engage in a productive activities. We are, as I said, this particular chapter is on the functional areas of management, right? This particular point comes under the section heading of the knowledge management, right? And it says, by knowledge, men ascend as rishis. So the mantra says that mantras related to Indra are in one meter, mantras related to Agni are in a different matter, mantras related to Varun are in a different matter, right? So all these Veda mantras are to be understood and meditated by the people. So some of the people who understand them better and excel in their use, right, they become rishis. So by knowledge, men ascend as rishis. Then the next statement in the knowledge management says, one should know both truth and falsehood properly. This is the statement given by Dr. Kannan. And when I go and read the mantra, it says we have to pray to God to inform us the truths that we do not know, right? So every day, if we are making a prayer to the God, so we request God, because this universe is infinite, right? The knowledge regarding the universe is also infinite, whereas our knowledge is finite. So every day we are praying to God, please tell us something more about the universe which is useful to us. Then the next point, 1978A, knowledgeable persons correct the faults and failures of the others, right? So intellectuals should correct their gaps in knowledge by learning from better knowledgeable persons. So this is the sort of a meaning we get from the mantra. And I can say in our own towns in Andhra, every year on a particular Tithi at the same month, the Veda Sabhas take place. So the Vedic Pandits of that particular region, all of them come to that particular Sabha and they listen to the more eminent Vedic Pandits giving them directions and certain discussions, right? So even in the area of Veda, this take place. We know that in the area of management or engineering, we have the research conferences. Some of them are done by professional associations, right? The disciplines associations, they're almost every year they hold an annual conference where, let us say, the keynote speeches are equal to the more eminent persons trying to correct the gaps in the knowledge. Once again, regarding the knowledge, right, it says it is the inspirer of gracious thoughts. Actually, the number 1311 Rig Veda. Now, probably 3 or 4 mantras of this particular sukta are included in the Saraswati Sukta. Right? There is a YouTube video on the Saraswati Sukta. You will be able to find these mantras included as a part of the Saraswati Sukta. So the statement of Dr. Kannan is, it is the inspirer of gracious thoughts. And we go to the meaning of the mantra, we get an understanding that the God who created many goods for consumption by men, and let us say even deities, he also creates the knowledge in intellectuals in using them. He also informs us, if required, how to use that particular goods. Right? The knowledge is also created in us by the Supreme Being. The next point says, it lightens every pure thought. We can say the Saraswati or the Ved or the knowledge makes thoughts better. Now, let us interpret that way. Even individuals who are not formally educated, they also think, right? They have the mind, and mind captures the experience, right? So that from experience, it keeps thinking what it should do to get pleasure in the next instant. The mind thinks based on its experience. But the knowledge is a part of buddhi, probably, is a part of the intellect, right? So as knowledge increases, your thinking is better. Like somebody has a diabetes, right? So first of all, you should know that you got a diabetes, and then you should know what you should eat and what you should not eat. So even though the eating a sweet item, you may feel good, but your intellect tells you, no, if you eat, there is a problem which is likely to come. So the thinking or the thought of the person becomes better with more and more appropriate or relevant knowledge. One more point says, wisdom is the light which is to be won, right? We have to gain knowledge. And the mantra, the meaning looks like this. Hey Paramatman, give us great happiness, cows, horses, all kinds of wealth, courage, strength, wisdom, and heaven, Swarg, right? So one of them is you are asking the God for the wisdom, for the knowledge, and the experience based on the knowledge. I liked one explanation given by some person between jnana and vijnana. That explanation is, jnana is knowledge. That means you know how to do it. And vijnana is the practice based on the knowledge. Somebody who has used that knowledge and got the benefit, he is the person with vijnana. The person who only knows how to do it. If you ask, he can tell you how to do it, but he himself has not done it. So he remains as a jnani, and the person who has done it, he becomes a vijnani. Interesting explanation, right? Then the next point is 2006. This is with respect to, let us say, the organization or the human resource management. The mind shall be of one accord, aim be common, assembly be common, and thoughts be united. The purpose be common and ought to be united for happily living together. So, to this particular point, the meaning is multiple professionals of various professions have to work together. We all know, we say, Veda talks of Chaturvarna. Right. Now, we have to think what is this Varna system and all. But one thing comes to my thinking is all these 4 Varnas are basically great professions. Right? They are the major professions in the society. And the concept of Dvija, twice born, I want to interpret that at some stage in life, people are going to choose their profession. And choosing the profession is the second birth. There is a natural birth. All of us are born. It's a natural birth. But after some time, we choose our profession. So when you're choosing your profession, when you enter that profession, that is where your second birth is taking place as a professional. So you may take up the job of the Brahmin. Okay, what are the jobs written there? You may take a job of Kshatriya. Somebody gave what is Kshatriya. You take the job of Vaishya. There is a description. You take up the job of the Sudra. There is a description, right? So then maybe what we see is the top three are given special. You have to be specially qualify yourself. Whoever doesn't qualify as a professional there automatically takes up the fourth profession. So all I would personally try to interpret. I don't know. I have to really go into much more detail to develop my sort of a line of reasoning. But that looks more reasonable to me. That's where we say, depending on the qualities, your varna is decided. Means basically it is depending on the profession. These very interesting 2 points are there, and they are part of the, once again, human resource management, labor welfare. The farmer shall plow the land happily. This is the statement of Dr. Kannan. And when you go into the mantra, what we get is the persons working in the field have to be comfortable. And the landowners also who employ the farm workers have also to be comfortable and happy. So we are talking of a mutual relation between the landowner, who is a Vaishya, and the people who are working there, right? So the employer and the employed. So there has to be a mutual cooperation, right? And mutual respect, or mutual love and affection, and an attitude to make each other's comfortable, right? Vedas have not told anybody to exploit the other person. They've told to take care of the other person. That's what we have seen earlier also, right? Don't become a miser, right? To truly give the proper thing to share to the proper people. Then only your share will increase. You become wealthy by taking care of people who are following you. Right? The next statement, he says, the steers and men shall work properly. When you go to the mantra actually talks of the animals working in the farms should be comfortable, and men working in the farms should be comfortable. And specifically it is mentioned the ropes that tie the animal should not hurt the animal. So you see the concern that one has to show to the animal when he is using that animal in a productive work. So we have to see both directions, right? We all know that animals are killed for food. There is one direction from the nature that something is happening, but the other direction you are telling as a good practice or as a culture, sanskruti, good act, that you please see that the animals which are working work with comfort and not with a distress. Same thing, men working must have comfortable. I told I am from the field of industrial engineering, right? The purpose, the objective of industrial engineering, more production, right? But at the same time, the men should be comfortable, right? Men should be safe. Men should be healthy. As they are coming and working in either factories or engineering activities, they should be comfortable, they should be healthy, right? They should be safe. So what I want to emphasize is that the men working should be comfortable is there as a part of our Vedic message. All right. So the The next point says it is a part of the marketing, relationship management. One shall quickly listen to others' calls. This is what is the statement given by Dr. Kannan. And when I see the mantra, Asmakam Srudhi Havam, it says, please listen to us before deciding, right? We can see the idea of democracy, right? The MPs and MLAs should first of all listen to what people want, right? And then only go to the parliament and first tell what their people want and then discuss, right? What is good as a collective assembly, what is good for the society. But the basic thing should be the interest or the desire of the people should be taken. Now, as I said, this is the chapter 7. Chapter 6 is on the basic management process. In that, there is a section on leadership where probably a statement is there to the leader. Leaders listen to their followers, right? So here he talks of from a sort of customer angle, please quickly listen to the others' calls. This is where Dr. Kannan has given this particular point. The next point, 2041, it is regarding the time management. It says, one shall not delay to perform his tasks. So when I went to the mantra seems to have the meaning, the persons who are not lazy, dull, and who do not have temptation to steal, shine bright like sun, right? So one should not be lazy and dull, right? One should be active and do the things at the proper time. Now the point of improvement management, right? The improvement management today is being described by a Japanese term called kaizen, which is the good change in our procedures and systems. And innovation is either a new product or a new process. So Dr. Kannan said, one shall improve upon the rights with new performance. So this is the meaning or statement Kannan has given. And when I went to the mantra, what I got the meaning is, people have to pray to God to create or to give birth to persons with very good engineering knowledge or knowledge of creating goods and structures, so that we can get new products of utility, purusharth, right? So now this in English, in the modern terms, I said very good engineering knowledge or knowledge of creating goods and structures. And Dayanand Saraswati, Swami Dayanand Saraswati uses the word Silpa Vidya. Right? This is what he gives, the sculptor, right? The man who makes the images of idols, right? So the builds temples, or the person who builds houses, right? So you are praying to God, right, to see to it that in your society or in your family, the people are born who have that particular gift, so that there is improvement and innovation in our society. A similar thing is given in the next statement, let the right be born anew. That means we should get a new process, right? And the meaning of this particular mantra is given, we pray to God to create new intellectuals among us with great creativity, so that they develop better and better methods and products. So a lot of emphasis is there in today's management regarding kaizen, innovation, and we see very, very clearly the emphasis on the new products and new process and improvements, etc. In the Vedic messages. The next point, we have to remember, all these are from the Rig Veda, right? One who does not work is a social evil, and such persons are to be controlled by the king or to be reduced by the king. So if somebody is on his own not working, he must also be encouraged to work. If for some reasons society is unable to give them the work, the king has to step in and see to it that more employment opportunities are created for them. I would like to mention here Pandit Deendayal ji, right, who is an intellectual whose work guides BJP. In his lectures, has clearly brought this point, right? The government has to make sure that there is full employment always, because unemployment is a waste of resources. All people who are able to work have to be provided employment, and government has to monitor this particular aspect and see that people working. The next point is overcome in all encounters, competition. The mantra gives a meaning: protect our intellect so that we can win over others competing with us. Who are competing with us? One thing is individuals are competing, but today we can give an interpretation: nature competing with us. COVID-19 is a problem. Let us say the nature has thrown a challenge to us, right? And we are in an encounter, right? We are actually telling we are fighting. We are fighting with the COVID-19, right, to reduce the problem to the bare minimum. And to do that fighting, we require knowledge, right? So this particular statement talks of that you have to continuously improve your intellect. This is where the point, Diyo Yona Prachodayat, right? Diya is a term I am seeing in many mantras in the Vedas, right? So our capability should be increased, right? The God should keep on increasing our capability. Also means that we should increase our capability on a continuous basis, so that the encounters which are likely to come in the future, either from nature or from our competitors in business, can be encountered, and we protect our business of the market share. So at this stage, I can come to summarize my presentation. The point I would like to say is, as I read the Kannan's work, and especially chapter 7 in more detail, and went through the Veda mantras, I would feel that many of them are relevant for the practice today as modern management. We may be following Vedic guidelines without explicit knowledge, but as educated persons, if we know explicitly, now this is what is our Vedic guidelines, we will have much more confidence and much more commitment to implement them in practice. So from that perspective, I want all the management students of the country to specially know this particular area, that is what the Veda guides in management, right? Once again, I would say I feel the guidelines identified Kannan very much are in line with the modern management, and they have a utility. I made a presentation on Deendayalji's present philosophy some time back. There is a YouTube video on that, and there also I came to a similar conclusion that the policy prescriptions of Pandit Deendayal are in line with the modern economic thought, and they can be implemented. Once again, I request the listeners to download the thesis of Dr. Kannan and increase your familiarity with that. There are also some more books with the title Vedic Management. You can search the Google books and you can find those books and you can do review. But compared to those books, the uniqueness of Dr. Kannan's work is that he has collected a large number of statements based on the specific Veda mantras, and he has given an index. An index maybe around 1500 Veda mantras. So that gives us a direction, right? We take his direction, go into the available online books of Veda, actually try to look at the mantra, read their meaning, and feel assured that these are actually the Vedic guidelines and practice them. And this effort should be done first by the Indian managers. No doubt, the Veda is for the entire world, but only in our own area, we try to use them and we try to get the benefit. Vijnan, we said, we try to get the benefit, and if others come to know of that benefit, then they would also like to use them. I welcome your feedback. You can write a comment on my blog article, or you can send a mail to me, or you can put a comment in any of my social media profiles. I would like to improve my presentation based on your feedback. Right? The presentation should have much more clarity and much more crisp and much more useful to the listeners, and your feedback would help in improving the presentation. Thank you for the patient listening. Thank you, Dr. Naren Joshiji, once again for the opportunity given to me, and we close my presentation with our desire that Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Vedas are for the happiness of all being in the universe, right? All people should be happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We look forward to the further discussions and sessions by you. Thank you. Thank you.